So what I want to do here for the next couple of minutes is share with you guys a situation, an issue, a problem, an encounter, whatever you want to call it, with you guys. I want to walk you through at least my thought process about the whole thing, and then ultimately the resolution that we happen to come up with between me and another individual within my guild. So before we even get started, I guess, as I'm sitting here thinking about it, why do I even want to do a video like this? And what really strikes me, and something that I've been thinking of, is a lot of the concepts, a lot of the content, a lot of the videos on this channel are these very overarching ideas, right? Of integrity and endurance and honesty, and you should do this and you should do that. And these are all things that, yeah, you sure as hell should be doing. But I also need to do a better job, and maybe it's simply sitting down and sharing with you guys, as I'm doing now, stories of practical app, right? Stories where it's not you sitting there, and I've said to do this, and I still hold true to it, of sitting there, as you're driving to work or you're going home or before bed or in the morning or whatever, and going, gosh, did I handle that situation correctly? That's not what makes you a leader. These are all things you should be doing. You should be analyzing your behavior and going, man, I screwed up that situation. That was a really shitty thing I did. I got to fix it. Those are things you should be doing after the fact. Those are extracurricular things. But to be a leader, to show that you are a leader, it all comes down to these individual situations, these individual cases where you interact with another person, or there's a problem or a situation or an issue or something's going on, and you take everything that I've talked about on this YouTube channel and you apply it to that situation. So with that, I want to share with you guys a problem I had with one of my guild members. We got this guy probably about 6 months ago. And of course, the blanket statement that I say whenever I'm talking about another person is, I'm not being malicious, I'm not being mean, I'm being as truthful. If I get something wrong, I'm not doing it on purpose, right? If I misremember something that dude said 2 years ago, it's 2 years ago. Okay. Now, with that being said, we got this guy, let's say 6 months ago, whatever. I don't remember. We'll go with 6 months ago. And this guy, a very skilled player, incredibly skilled player, he stepped into a tanking role here recently. We had Battle for Dazar'alor come up, and kind of people were talking about switching roles, and he said, hey, I'll fill in this tank role if that's cool with everybody. Everybody was cool with it. Good to go. However, as the raid started to go on and we started to push further and further into the harder bosses, one of the big problems, and this could just be me, this could just be a character flaw on my part, could be a weird thing with me, but this guy was overly aggressive. If I've made a call that I want to continue, doing this boss, even though I know it's a wipe, because we have not seen phase 2 of this boss, and if half the raid can get a little bit of practice, 30 seconds of practice on phase 2, that helps. And that's my thought process. And we would get the boss, we would be wiping, right? And we get the boss to this hypothetical phase 2. And I go, keep going, guys. I want y'all to see this, this phase 2 for a little bit, kind of get comfortable with it, as we push, further and further into here. Nah, man, we gotta wipe, we're wasting time, etc. Okay. Something that frustrates me, right, is guild leader, raid leader, been doing this a long time. You're bucking my call in an inappropriate way. So he continued to do this, right? Or I'd ask him to do something and it just didn't happen. Or it took, something that should have taken 5 seconds to do, move here, check this, answer this question. It took 20 seconds, and it took me repeating. Another thing I don't like repeating myself, especially in a raid where we have 3 hours a night to get shit done. I don't want to wait when we could be doing more polls, or we could be looking and going, okay, why don't we screw that one up, rather than me waiting on you for 30 seconds to answer a simple question. Just so you know. So this kept going for maybe about a week and a half, right? I would notice that, he would take a little bit longer to answer questions, or, he was overly aggressive about things. We don't need to be doing this. We should be doing that. And it finally got to me. And I knew that one of two things was going to happen. Worst case scenario, either he or I were going to snap. I was going to have an outburst that I don't want to have happen, because that's not how I want to run my guild. That's not how I want to run my team at work. I'm not the yelling type. I did that in the Marine Corps. As I've told, I think you guys on this YouTube channel, I tell my guys, all the new people that join the guild, I don't want to yell. I did my fair share of yelling in the Marine Corps. I don't need to yell. If I need to, then yes, it will come out. Different story, different time. But I was going to snap, or he was going to snap and leave the guild. Neither one of those were going to be a great situation. Okay, we would be down a very skilled player. Ultimately, a pretty nice, cool, funny guy, but we weren't meshing well together. There was an obvious disconnect. There was a rift, whatever you want to call it. Or option 2, which is what I went with. And that was, I waited till after the raid. I waited till, the weekend, once we knew we were done raiding, right? We raid 2 days a week. And I messaged him and I said, look, I don't know if it's you. I don't know if it's me. There's an obvious problem. I don't know if you don't like me, if I've done or said or, something that you dislike or you disapprove of. But here is my thought. I don't like repeating myself. I feel that you are purposefully doing things. You're purposefully, acting a certain way. And it's really not beneficial to the raid. It's not beneficial to the guild. It's not beneficial to me wanting to keep you around. And he came back and he said, look, he's like, I'm not like that at all. He's like, I'm not trying to be a drama queen. He's like, I have a very weird and very dry and very weird and very weird and very weird. He said it multiple times. Sense of humor. And sometimes it doesn't come across very well. If you want me to leave, I'll totally do so. No hard feelings. I'm not trying to be, a drama queen about anything. I'm too old to have drama and anything. I'm not trying to cause any problems. And then I took a step back, because here is, this dude, I may have been taking him the wrong way this whole time. He may have been taking me wrong this whole time. And so I said, look, I'm not looking to push anyone. If I don't want you in my organization, whether it be at work or it be, in World of Warcraft or whatever I'm doing in the future, you're gone. I'm not going to put up with it. I will just say, hey, you're a detriment to the team, to my organization, to my raid, to my guild. Peace out, bitch. And you're gone. And I said, look, I'm not trying to get rid of anybody. I'm not trying to get rid of you. That's not how we do things here. But, here is my thought behind it. That you're kind of aggressive, that it seems like you're not listening to the things I say, and it comes across, and this is where I believe I messed up. Okay. This is a true statement, but maybe I didn't need to share this with him. I said, multiple people, myself included, or maybe I said, I feel, and others have mentioned it. Actually, I think that's what I said. I feel, and others have mentioned, that you come across as disrespectful. You come across as rude. Probably shouldn't have said that, but he didn't seem to be offended by it. And if he did, he didn't tell me. And I said, you come across as disrespectful when you do stuff like this. When you're not listening, when you're not paying attention, when I have to ask you multiple times, when I'm waiting on answers, or even worse yet, you buck a call that your raid leader that you signed up. And again, guys, this is something that I've said before. When you join that raid, when you hit that yes, I'm ready button, you're agreeing to listen to that raid leader, that guild leader. If you don't like it, get out, leave, go somewhere else. But he agreed he was going to listen. So, man, you're being disrespectful, right? Was ultimately what I'm saying here. And he said, I'm not trying to be, I can see where I'm coming across that way. I don't want to go anywhere. I like you guys. I only want what's best for the raid and the guild. Cool. And we continued to talk, and it ultimately came down to he came across unwittingly a certain way that other people, myself included, were taking in a malicious way. And, we talked about it, and ultimately what happened is we both agreed that we were in the same mindset, that I want him to share his thoughts, his opinions, his ideas. It's not something I'm looking to stifle. However, he needs to be Johnny on the spot when it comes to me telling him what to do. If I say move here, or, why are we doing this, or what happened here, you got to do it. And ultimately, we cracked a few jokes with each other, and everything has been great. No issues last week. Took his opinion, his ideas, his suggestions, his input into consideration when we tweaked things, when we made suggestions and slight changes to the raid group, all for the betterment of the organization. And that, I think, is really what I want to share with you guys, right? Is I had a problem with the dude. I messaged him in private after the raid was done for the week. I said, hey man, here's my issues with you. It's not beneficial to the group, the organization. We got to fix it. There was a misunderstanding. We came to agreement. Ultimately, the organization benefited from it. And that is something that I've told you guys and I've walked you guys through. But in practical app, it took 20 minutes, right? It took 20 minutes of chatting on Discord where all we did was type. There was no, drama. There was no, it was a little weird at first, right? But there was no yelling or arguing. There's nothing to worry about. It was super easy to do. And the organization benefited in the end. And that's what I want to share with you guys is these little practical app moments, right? Where you take all the shit that this idiot on YouTube says and you put it into a real life situation, and hopefully it works out for you too, because it did for me. Now, with that being said, hopefully you guys like what I'm saying here. You guys know the deal. If you do, thumbs up. If you didn't, let me know in the comment section down below. Until next time, guys, I'll see you.